After studying and spending all this time with the writings of spiritual people and their life and the way how they live their life and everything else, then I got to a point that I had the feeling or belief that I am not just this worldly person who I see in the mirror and I think this is me, a man, this age, how tall, how much I weigh, and where I was born, and my language, mentality, everything. So then I learned who I am is not just this. It's not the person I see in the mirror. So I have an energy, something in me. It is beyond of this worldly personality, identity. And then I just study more, contemplating more, and all these things. And then it came a time I lost my father, my brother, mother, and you know, got all these news about other people that I knew they died. So I started to spend more and more and more time about my identity, who I am. Am I just the person I see in the mirror and it comes a time I die and that's it? If that would be who I was, then and I would think there's no life after this. So that's it. That's my physical body. When I die, I'm done. If I would believe in that, so then my goal would become just as long as I'm healthy and I have this physical body and energy, so I should enjoy. So what it means is just enjoying my physical needs and worldly stuff. And when it comes a time and I'm dead, I'm gone, then that's it. That's life. But this is not. For me, that's not. Because if I would believe that, then I would become super, super selfish. And all what I wanted to do is just enjoy every moment, make money, and with money, satisfy my physical being and my psychologically who I was and all these things. So the worldly person, worldly stuff. But that didn't satisfy me. So I couldn't believe that's me. Or after I lost my father, for example, say, okay, he's gone forever. It didn't. It didn't give me the answer. So I searched more, studying more, and then I got very often very moments in my life that I had questions and I couldn't find the answer to. So I just meditate, contemplate, and talk to myself. Even talking to my father's spirit, my mom, without knowing where they are, but I needed somebody to talk. So I did that. I spent a lot of time with just talking to my mom, dad, who they were not on this earth anymore. And then I studied and spent more time and chose to have a materialistic, simple life, to have more time, more energy, till I could get rid of a lot of these material programs like computer, this physical material information that I got in my mind as a child, the way how I spend my time, so I could let them go. I could clean my mind with these materialistic life and get rid of them and have more energy, more time, and could focus myself more on who I am Do I have that spiritual identity, or I'm just worldly? So I had more and more time to spend on knowing and understanding and experiencing my spiritual being, till I understood. And then I had, for sure, like everybody else, I had some personal experiences, like dreams, like other things, that it helped me to have a belief that it became stronger and stronger, and I could live my life based on my belief and what I was experiencing and my dreams and everything else. So my personality became stronger and stronger in believing in a spiritual identity that exists in me. And then I had a feeling, or I call it like a light or love. It is in us when we're born, in a time, in a moment that we have this physical being. In us is an energy, or call it light, or call it love. It's in us. But when the physical identity grows up and we get all this information, our mind is becomes so busy with all this worldly information, like these programs in a computer, that we lose, or we become strange with that light or love feeling that it is in us. But when we detached ourselves as much as possible from this worldly identity and have more time with searching and studying the spiritual being, then we start to experience energies and having beliefs that makes this light or energy or love in us stronger and stronger. So I went through this step of being, and I had to pay a high price. I mean, materialistic, a high price, to experience and to understand these spiritual being. I had to detach myself as much as possible from the material um, needs and identity. So it was a hard time till I experienced and could feel that this love or light in me, in all of us, that this light and this love became stronger and stronger. And who I became was through the experiences I had, through the knowledge I had, through reading and watching these spiritual people's life and how they affect the society. So then I just spend more and more time and decided to have a more simple life, and just in this worldly life, material being or worldly life, I just um, started just to have the minimum that I can have, the maximum time and energy to study and going through this spiritual being who I am. And through these experiences and understanding, I learned that I'm not the person I see in the mirror. This is just a level of being. And I learned that after I was born in this physical body, till I am in this physical body, I live on this earth. My life is based on percentage. That means I could be 1% spiritual, but 99% worldly, material person. Or I could be 1% worldly, material being, and 99% spiritual. And based on this percentage, how many percent I'm material and I'm attached to it, attached to my physical body and all these things, and how many percent I'm spiritual. So it changed my life. It affects my goals and who I am. And today I took picture of me and my sister, and then I used paints to show when I was worldly, and then the when it is, the time we grow up in a society and we get all these informations and the effect from the society, and then we grow up to become a spiritual. So as I said, for worldly person, he uses his brain and intelligence to become who the environment wants us to become. Our parents, mentality, everything else in the environment. And we think that's being happy and that's life and that's love. And when we can detach ourselves from this information that we have in ourselves and become more clear our mind and have more energy and time to focus on the meaning and purpose of life, I learned that we experience more our spiritual being, and it affects our mind, it affects our personality and our beliefs. And the spiritual person uh, feels much more energy, light, and love in himself based on the percentage as I talked before. And when we look at the history of mankind, the people who they were super spiritual, they created books, arts, everything else, whatever. And after even thousands of years, it still is affecting the society. It affects people's mind and affects people's personality. So this is the power and the energy that it comes from super spiritual people. When we look at the history of mankind. So based on all these experiences and what I study and contemplated, I have the feeling that I feel very strongly light in my heart, a love, that this love and energy is not attached to the material world. For example, for example, feeling just love, loving my family, loving what I have is beyond of that. So I love everybody. Even a person who hates me, for example, or he thinks he's my enemy, I know why he is like that. But I love that love that's in him. So I love his spiritual identity. I feel that he has it, but he doesn't know it because he is on the level of worldly being. So through this, what I'm trying to explain is I feel much more peace with who I am, loving who I am, and feeling much more peace with the environment and society. And there are thousands of questions or subjects that we could talk about it, or I can say the difference, for example, between a material person and a spiritual person based on these percentage. For example, for material person or worldly person, what is making money and what is making money for a spiritual person. For a material person, why he gets married and why a spiritual person would get involved in this relationship or get married. Or for a material worldly person, how he raises his kids, and how a spiritual person would raise his kid. So they are all different subjects, and when people who they like what I'm talking about and they are interested, if they ask their questions, then I have a purpose, and then it motivates me to um, have more talks like this.